Hey, this is Chris with RightToBearArms. Again, thank you for viewing all of our other videos. Today we're going to cover a quick thing on suppressors, otherwise known as silencers. A big misconception we run into a lot of times, and you need to check your local and state laws, but here in Florida, sound suppressors and silencers for guns are completely legal. The reason I make a quotation towards silencers, there is no such thing as a silencer, but a lot of people confuse them or call them silencers. There is no actual virtually silent weapon. They are sound suppression. Basically, all a silencer is a tube with a special design baffling inside of it, similar to the muffler on your car, that's designed to redirect the gases as they come out of the end of the muzzle and quiet them down so that you don't get that loud crack of the bullet coming out of the end of the gun. If you shoot subsonic rounds, then you also eliminate the secondary crack of the bullet breaking the sound barrier and making another loud pop, keeping the gun virtually quiet. The biggest convenience to owning a suppressor, like on this rifle here, this is a Seiko TRG-22. It's chambered in .308. This is a gun that we set up for shooting 600 yards. The biggest convenience to having a sound suppressor on something like this is that you reduce the recoil out of your rifle by up to 65%. You also don't have a flash signature. With a can on the end or a suppressor on the end, all the gases are trapped, meaning all that big flame that generally comes out of the end of your barrel when you shoot is gone. So now you haven't given away your position if you're in a sniper situation, and you've quieted it down. You've also become more accurate because you're not as scared by the recoil of the rifle or nervous or intimidating the recoil, and it keeps you on target picture faster. Silencers come in suppressors come in all different calibers, size, shapes, makes, models. There's a lot of companies out there making them. Some work better than others. A great example is this is a 9mm one that someone made a few years ago. It's basically a piece of crap. We got it for free, and it's not worth somebody paying the fee to get it transferred into their name, so we're going to play with it and see if we can make it work better. And here in Florida, the way that it works, if you wanted to purchase a silencer or a suppressor, is you would come into a Class 3 dealer like myself, like you've heard me say several times in the videos that we're Class 3, Class 7 manufacturers. Class 3 means we're allowed to sell silencers, suppressors, machine guns, destructive device, which would be mortars and grenades and explosives and all that fun stuff. Class 7 means we're allowed to manufacture our own devices, so we can actually in-house make our own cans and our own silencers. Again, if you were a South Florida person, every state's a little different, so you got to check your local laws. But here in South Florida, if you wanted to purchase, or in Florida in general, if you wanted to purchase a suppressor from a dealer that's a Class 3 person, you have to go in, pick out your item, pay for it, do what's called a Form 4, which is just a series of paperwork. It's kind of like doing another 4473. You're going to sign it, fill it out. You're going to get 2 fingerprint cards. You got to take 1 copy to your local sheriff, have him sign off on it, and then you're going to send another copy to NFA, which is National Firearms Act. When you send that second copy in NFA, it's also going to be sent in with $200 of your money. That $200 is paying for your federal tax stamp in order for you to legally own the item. The way that works, it's a one-time fee. However, if you pass away or anything, that item has to go immediately to the ATF unless you sign it into another dealer. A dealer can take it back in from you, but you cannot buy one and sell it to your buddy and then let him have it. That item has to stay in your possession with that paperwork. What a lot of people do is they set up gun trusts. And the way the gun trusts work are, and again, I'm not a lawyer, so please don't take any of this as legal advice. I'm just giving you a rundown of how this basically works. But the way a gun trust would work is if I have a friend of mine and maybe he wants to borrow my machine gun, or maybe he wants to borrow my silencer and he wants to go out and be able to play with it, and he doesn't want me to be with him. He says, Chris, can I borrow it this weekend? If he's on a trust with me and his name is on my trust that my silencer and my machine gun's licensed to, he's allowed to use that item without me with him. If he's not, and the item's just in my name solely, then I have to be in possession of the item at all times, so I could go with him, he could fire it, but I would have to be there physically. Back to the cans themselves, like I said, they come in all shapes, various brands, makes, models. Here in-house, we use a lot of our own, we manufacture our own 22. We're playing with some larger calibers, but we haven't found a way to do it better than anyone else has done it yet. We actually currently hold a patent on the quietest 22 suppressor made for a spin-on type can. There's several ways to fix them to your gun if you have a threaded barrel or if you don't. I get a lot of people come in that don't have a threaded barrel. Again, like I've told you before, we have a full machine shop, so we are capable of taking your barrel off your weapon, putting it in the lathe, turning it down, putting whatever thread pattern you'd like on it as well. Any caliber you can think of, we can pretty much suppress. Again, this is a .308. It's actually got my .338 can on it, so this can's actually for a .338 Lapua. But because it's for a larger caliber, 30 caliber gun, I can put it on a 308 as well. It's just not as quiet as it would be if it were on my 338. Here I've got just a simple, this is a Yankee Hill. This is a stainless mite. It's a little bit heavy of a can. It's all stainless steel though. Threads right on. It's a direct thread on. Again, here's an Armalite. It's direct thread on 22 suppressor on a GSG 1911 style 22. I like 22 because they're cheap and they're fun to play with. For pistol suppressors, for me, buying larger calibers doesn't make a lot of sense personally, just because I'm not going to have as much fun with it as I am a 22. I can go out and shoot it all day long. It doesn't cost me anything. Subsonic ammo is readily available and cheap. My rifles, I spend money and get the larger calibers because they're fun to play with. This is a neat concept. Like I said before, we had spin-on ones. This is a spin-on as well. It's just a direct turn-on, locks right onto the threads. This is an internally suppressed Ruger. It's a Mark II series gun. The silencer is actually built into the barrel. So when you buy this gun, you're buying it with the silencer. The only disadvantage to this is that you can't take it off and attach it to another weapon. That's another thing that I wanted to clear up too real fast is once you own one of these cans and it's registered in your name, like say this is a 9mm can, I can switch this from my rifles to my handguns to 50 different 9mm suppressors, or sorry, 9mm handguns if I'd like to. The item is not licensed to that weapon unless it's built into the weapon. The next important thing to point out is if you don't have a spin-on, you can actually get what's called a quick detach. This is a 5.56-223 can from AAC, Advanced Armalite Corporation. This is a quick detach. If you look in the end here, it does not have the large threads. It's got just a large hole. The way it works is like on any of your AR-15 type rifles, you replace your flash suppressor with their quick attach. Joe, can you see this? This is their quick attach. This is pretty nice because now I've got a flash hider on the end of my gun. I can use it like normal. When I want to suppress it, it goes on real fast with no tools needed, and the can's locked on. Now I'm playing quietly. This is actually a Lewis machine. That's another thing we're a dealer for here at my shop. The quick detach is really nice. If you want to shoot your gun a lot, you want to go from silenced to non-silenced, it's convenient to be able to just ratchet this thing right on and off with no tools needed. Put it back in your pouch and go back to playing unsuppressed. I'm sure that I could answer questions for days and hours and talk for weeks about different makes and models, baffle designs and stuff, and that's not what we're trying to do. I'm just trying to educate people. One of the most things people get shocked by, I think, the most when they come in my shop and they see this kind of stuff is, oh, I thought that was illegal. No, it is 100% legal, but you have to have the proper paperwork and do it the right way. If you do it the wrong way, if you're in possession of these items without having the right licenses, without paying the tax stamps and doing the paperwork, you're looking at a lot of jail time and a lot of fines. It's just not something it's not worth it. Play right, play smart, pay your $200 tax stamp, fill out 2 pages of paper and get you a silencer. It's just a lot of fun. What we're going to do, we're going to do a quick break. We're going to go out to my private range. I got a small indoor place. I'm going to pop off a 22 a couple times. That way you can hear the differences from suppressed to non-suppressed. Alright, here we are again. We're back, and this is my private little range. I got a 35-foot shooting lane just set up for myself so that you can hear the difference without being judged by the steel impact. I'm actually going to just shoot into a clearing barrel I have so that you don't hear the impact of the round. All you hear is the noise coming out of the muzzle pretty much. These are just standard Remington subsonic 22 long rifle bullets that I'm shooting. The first one's going to come out of a Walther P22. Secondly, I'm going to shoot an internally suppressed Ruger. Joe, if you want to go to the clearing barrel. 22 long rifle, fire in the hole. Well, bad round. Anyway, now that failed, we're going to go to the Ruger. Sometimes you got to remember this is 22 ammo. It's cheap, it's inexpensive, and subsonics especially, they don't like to cycle certain actions. Now we're going to go to an internally suppressed Ruger. Now that you heard how loud the Walther was, I'm actually going to take my hearing protection off, which I don't recommend, other than the fact that with a suppressed weapon you don't need it, which is what makes it so cool. Hopefully in the video you'll be able to hear the noise signature difference. Joe, if we go to the clearing barrel. Test fire, Ruger Mark II, suppressed. That's it. Not much more noise than a cap gun. Again, this is Chris with Right to Bear Arms in Vero Beach, Florida. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into our channel. If you have any more questions or comments or concerns or want to know anything, feel free to leave us some. We'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. If there's anything you'd like to see or want to get a hold of, let me know. And until next time, we'll hopefully have another video up next week.